Hello and welcome to Watching Worst Films, your guide to Razzie history. My name is Jericho Reed, with me, Kyle Szymanski.
Hello, hello.
You're joining us at the end of our quest where we have worked our way through every Razzie Worst Film Award winner. So if you're just jumping in to hear what these two bozos are saying, stay by all means, but you might want to check out our previous episodes to get a taste of what we do best.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've watched them all and we aren't ready to say goodbye just yet. As you know, Kyle, cinema history started in 1980.
It didn't do?
So the Razzies able to cover the entirety of cinematic. No, what? Wait, what's that? No, we are bringing you our special on pre-Razzie history, because the Razzies are a relatively recent formation, and if we are watching only the Razzie sanctioned worst films, there will be so many gems which will get left unacknowledged, unloved. And
Mm-hmm.
so we are going to attempt to distill a century worth of bad filmmaking into one podcast episode. So this was your brainchild. So do you want to talk us through
This
this
is.
in more detail?
It's kind of something I spoke to you a lot about. Is, well, one, Can't Stop the Music is a terrible start to your Razzie. It's not the big film you need. There's so many that kind of
Household name
encapsulate
Mahoney
household
from
name.
Police Academy, who
I
is not
want.
yet
I'm.
Mahoney from
I'm
Police
wanting.
Academy.
I want the budget. That's always what
Yeah.
to me a big budget failure, or that's where you start on. But again, going back, and I'm going to talk a lot this episode about a lot of my favorite films, which would have been 100% Razzie winners that we would have been watching. In
Yeah.
my head, New Hollywood, which I kind of just say like 1969, 1970 onwards, is the start of Razzie eligibility to me. I know there's a lot of shit in the 60s, I know there's a lot of shit in the 50s and backwards, but to me, what makes a Razzie that vanity project, that cynical cash in, the terrible sequel with a different director, writer, all these big budget failures, this is what I want to see. And I think in the 70s, that's 10 years, that's a perfect way to kind of go back, pick out a few. I do have some gaps, as I mentioned to you before. A lot of bad news bears, a lot of sex
Yeah.
comedies, porkies, cute porkies, prototypes, I guess, that I've never seen. But I have a list. I have some ideas. I have lots to talk about. Let's, and again, this might also clash a little bit with the Stinkers, which ran a couple of years
Yeah.
before. I did check. I did have a look just to see if I missed any that, because if the Stinkers are going to say it, the Razzies probably would at least mention a couple of them. The
Yeah.
crossover, the nominations are totally off, but the winners are usually close enough. So yeah, this is my idea. I wish the Razzies went early. I wish they went backwards. I think that's a cool idea. I wish they did it in pandemic or something, with a sort of retrospective or something backwards. But yes, I'm very excited. This is my jam. I like this stuff.
Yeah. So you're probably gonna have to carry a lot of this because I think you will have seen way more than me, and my fear is just that I'm going to be like inventing a guy to get mad at in terms
Mm,
of I'm just going to be putting words in Mr. Razzie's mouth, being like, oh, I bet he would fucking hate. And also the fact that we just were not alive, I will probably say some like outrageous things like, oh yeah, critical reception to Jaws was quite muted at the time, and then we'll get like
yes.
older listeners, aka my parents, being like, Jericho, why on earth did you say that no one no one liked Grease?
Well, I'm still bitter that we didn't get Grease 2 in the Razzies. That broke my fucking heart. So we'll see what they've got.
Okay, so we are going to use a little bit of structure beforehand. So
Mm,
as you alluded to there, we get the stinkers before they can kind of hold our hands for the first couple years before we voyage
yes.
off into territory unknown. So in
Well,
1979,
I'm gonna go first because at 1979
yeah,
I'm obsessed. Before we cross over with the stinkers, I want to. This is what I think. I know I'm sure one of these pops up. So 1979 Golden Raspberry Award winner was really hard for me because instantly before this started, Caligula. It's always Caligula. It's
yeah,
1979. That's my baby. It's one of my most beloved films.
mm-hmm.
It's one of my most watched films as well. I've seen it at least 10 times. in all its different cuts and versions. I've owned multiple copies. It's a perfect Razzie film. Big names, huge budget, disaster, critically, commercially. But, however, the Stinkers decided, as we covered on Can't Stop the Music, that it was 1980 was the release. So I have refrained from pointing that. I've decided to strike it from the record. And my winner for Worst Picture in 1979, I think would have went Rocky 2. I think we would have been watching Rocky 2, would have been the start of the Stallone hate. Post Fist, I believe, post Rocky, obviously. I think that's the time where Stallone becomes a star. It's the point of Rocky 2. I think Mr. Razzie got his dirt into that film, and we would have been watching it.
I don't think he's that brave. I think Rocky 2 is a little too close to, like, I don't think he's going to stick his neck out that early.
He is,
at
because
a time when, like,
Stallone's directing it. I think he's going for him. I think this is the turning point. I genuinely do. I know, like, it comes when we think of, like, mid-80s Stallone onwards. But Rocky 2, like, I'm not a big fan of Rocky 2. I'm not going to die on the Rocky 2 hill.
I don't think. I think Rocky 2 could certainly, if Rocky 2 was released later on, I think he might go for it. I just think that Mr. Razzie is never, like, first. Like, I think, I don't know. It might. I might not know the reception, but I think, like, I think predicting what Stallone would become and sticking his neck out requires bravery, which Mr. Razzie doesn't have.
Because he doesn't do it for Schwarzenegger. It's a personal vendetta. I think he's
because Arne is just a fantastic actor.
So, on that note as well, my honourable mentions were 1941 by Steven Spielberg. Very much a commercial failure. I like it. I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I was watching some of that earlier, and it's like, I don't know. Because I'd not seen it and want to have an excuse to watch it, and I was like, okay, I get why this has the reputation it does, but at the same time, you're watching Spielberg shots scored by John Williams.
Yeah,
so how bad can it possibly be?
Yeah, I like it.
I'm hopeful that Dan Aykroyd will receive oral sex from the ghost of someone bombed in Pearl Harbor.
And also, I have Star Trek, Star Trek, the motion picture, which I love. It's one of my favorites. I will talk about it, but it is boring as shit. And in 1979, I could understand why people would be repelled by it. Yeah. I don't think you'd be going for Shatner. See, I'm going for your. I think Stallone's still winning. I don't think he's going to go for Shatner here. For the movie, he would. Yeah. And I think there's a Star Wars thing in there you'll probably do. I can see it being like the biggest rip-off, even though it's not, the biggest cash-in. There's something. So they were my big ones. I have a few other honorable mentions, but they are going to come up in stinkers. That was my Razzie laser focused. So take us away to the stinkers.
So the stinker for 1979 went to Nightwing, which is an American horror film directed by Canadian filmmaker Arthur Hiller, who has definitely been spoken about on the podcast in some context before. Tagline, we're in the tagline era, day belongs to man, but night is theirs.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty good.
That's
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah, that's fine.
It looks like a horror bat movie.
I hope he trademarked Nightwing.
So, I don't think, knowing nothing about it, I don't think Nightwing gets the Razzie, because it just looks like a kind of creature feature B movie type of thing. Whereas, as you said, Mr. Razzie's more interested in like hubris. So I don't think that gets the Razzie. So the other nominations are Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, The Concorde, Airport 79, Hardcore.
Ooh.
Oh God! Oh no! That's my Paul Schrader movie. I can't remember what the tagline is for Hardcore. Oh God, that's my daughter. There we go. Oh God, that's my Schrader. And then Star Trek: The Motion Picture. So from these, I think Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, he gives the guy behind the original the Governor's Award.
I think Poseidon Adventure would get this. Motion picture would probably be better. Like, it's more clickbaity. is probably it's hard
Yeah.
to for me. Motion pictures.
Out of these, I'm confident that Poseidon and Star Trek
Yeah.
would be nominated, and I reckon one of those would win. I don't think he goes hardcore.
I don't think hardcore pops up. I don't think it does.
No,
I,
no.
if Caligula was here, it would overshadow hardcore. So
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And then their dishonorable mentions: 1941, Americathon, The Amityville Horror, The Black Hole, Bloodline, The Champ, The Electric Horseman, Hurricane, The Jerk, He Hates These Cans, Just You and Me Kid, Love at First Bite, The Main Event, Meteor, More, American Graffiti, Roller Boogie, Sammy Stops the World, and a little picture called The Warriors.
I did see that. I forgot about that. Right, and so The Warriors is one of my top 10 favorite films. Oh, I fucking love that movie. I don't think it's getting Razzied.
No.
I think it's safe. I think it's just a stinker covering all bases as they usually do.
Yeah.
Horrified to see the jerk there as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Razzie isn't doing that. Steve Martin is too.
I don't really like Steve Martin, but I love The Jerk.
I like Steve Martin. I don't love Steve Martin. I like 70s Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I like SNL, like The Jerk, that's 79. I really like him probably up until the 90s. And then he becomes Steve Martin, obviously. It just never changes.
He acquires a dozen kids for a very reasonable rate.
And then he's a father when one of them gets married. Oh, disaster. But I've seen The Jerk too, which I think has got the Dumb and Dumberer and it's POO. I'm sure I've seen it. It's not Steve Martin and it's not good, but I remember seeing it. And I haven't seen another more American Graffiti though. I forgot that had a sequel. That might pop up. But I think here the Razzies are going for the big hitters. I think.
Yeah.
1941 getting pulled out here. There'll probably be a roller boogie or whatever you said, just because we'll get a off the music style random thing from them. But yeah, I think that's quite beat by beat. The picture from.
Well, interestingly, the Stinkers did what you want the Razzies to do, and they revisited this selection in 2004. So in 2004, they decided that the actual worst film was The Main Event, starring Barbara Streisand. Produced by John Peters, and also starring Ryan O'Neal.
That would have been when it was with Barbara then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, perfect. Oh, I've never heard of that film.
Yeah, so Ryan O'Neal, Streisand, and Peters are all kind of Razzie figures, so I could potentially see them. That would be nominated for sure, I reckon, and might well have won. Their expanded ballot, the other nominees: 1941, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Can I Do It, Till I Need Glasses.
Okay.
And then the Concorde Airport 79. So, Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses is this says it's a 1977 American anthology comedy film and the sequel of If You Don't Stop It, You'll Go Blind, starring Angeline, and it was Robin Williams' film debut. A sex comedy of various raunchy comedy sketches. Also features Ron Jeremy.
Oh, Robin and Ron.
So,
together at last.
yeah. And so, their dishonorable mentions: The Amityville Horror, The Bell Jar, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, The Black Hole, Bloodline, Butch and Sundance, The Early Days, City on Fire, The Frisco Kid, Hardcore, Love and Bullets, More American Graffiti, Nightwing, Penitentiary, Roller Boogie, Scavenger Hunt, and The Villain. I had no idea that Butch and Sundance, The Early Days existed.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I assumed you would have as soon as I learned of it.
It's okay. I kind of mixed up something. I thought it was a TV movie. For thinking of memory, but yeah, I've seen it. It's someone's in it. I can't remember who. Someone reprises. It's like
Tom Berenger as Butch Cassidy and William Catt as a Sundance Kid, with Jeff Corey reprising his role as Sheriff.
It's a Grease 2 thing. I remember there's a tangible link between them. Yeah, Early Days is fine.
It was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And cinematography by Laszlo Kovacs. Okay, maybe we're watching Butch and Sundance.
I remember really liking it. I really like Butch Cassidy. So, not my favorite, but I really liked it enough to watch Early Days. For some reason, I thought it was TV movie, but yeah, no, it's fucking good. Shouldn't be here.
Yeah. So we don't want to dwell on things too much, but zooming through 1979,
Yes.
they nominate Stallone for actor and director, and so
He's a better actor in
yeah.
this movie than a director. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I don't think his performance is all that bad.
I like
Rocky
the
2. I think
yeah,
it's just
a nice mirror of Rocky One. I enjoy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll let him up there.
And then their worst song or song performance in the film or its closing credits goes to Adios Yesterday by Robbie Benson for Walk Proud. We also get Candice Bergen, Zane Busby, coming up, Henry Mancini with Don't Call It Love from 10. 10, lest we forget, was the debut of Bo Derek. Meatballs comes up here with Meatballs by Ricky D. That's Enough for Everyone by Scatman Crothers from Scavenger Hunt. And so we are then zipping off to 1978, the debut of the Stinker Bad Movie Awards. So that went to If I Ever See You Again, which sounds incredible, to be quite honest with you. It's 1978 American romantic drama film about a composer who rekindles his relationship with a former girlfriend. It stars Joe Brooks, who also co-wrote, produced, directed, and scored the film, which just seems like Tommy Wiseau. Like, if you're doing all of those things, maybe you're, I don't know. I don't know anything about Joe Brooks, but so I'm assuming you haven't seen If I Ever See You
I
Again.
have not seen If I Ever See You Again.
Oh shit. Just looked up Joe Brooks on Wikipedia. In later years, he became the subject of an investigation after being accused of a series of cast and couch rapes.
Ooh.
He was indicted in 2009 but killed himself on May 22nd, 2011, before his trial.
So we will never see him again.
Okay, so moving swiftly on. The Bad News Bears go to Japan. Moment by Moment, Paradise Alley, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Sgt. Pepper's is winning the Razzie this year. I think this is undisputed. Like we've talked about Paradise Alley and Paradise Alley. I've not seen the other three, but Sgt. Pepper's clean sweep here for 1978. I do have the soundtrack somewhere, but I did watch the film many years ago and I fucking hate it. It's what's his name? Oh my god, little guy. George Burns. Fucking hell. I can't remember if he does like Silver Hammer or like he does some McCartney song and it's fucking dreadful. Yeah, no, it's a terrible film. It's weird, it's stupid, it's pointless. Yeah.
Paradise Alley
Wrestling
is Stallone, but yeah, I just like the title because I'm like, could that be a sequel to Nightmare Alley?
Paradise Alley is a bit too innuendo-y for me to be a wrestling film, but whatever. Step into the ring, visit my Paradise Alley.
Okay, so other dishonorable mentions: Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh. What year did it come out?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, did they?
Can we just do that?
What? Exactly. I was like, did I read Revenge of the Return of the? Yeah. So I guess they reclassified it in their second. I don't know. Clearly, what we're learning is that the stinker revisionism wasn't like to decide on movies which they were maybe too harsh on or reappraised or whatever, but was just because they were drunk or high and it's like, yeah, films like that came out. Like, sure, what was that? Did we see that? Like, I want to look through all the other stinker years and just see if Attack of the Killer Tomatoes comes up again and again. Then you have Avalanche, The Boys from Brazil, Days of Heaven, Eraserhead, Fist, Game of Death, Going Coconuts, It Lives Again, Oliver's Story, Rabbit Test, Ronaldo and Clara, Sextet, The Swarm. Thank God it's Friday.
Fuck, when I went through this, I missed Ronaldo and Clara. Fuck.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a lot I can actually talk about some of these films for a change.
Yeah.
Eraserhead, obviously, is a wild one in retrospect, but in the eyes of 1978, sort of understand. I've got a little bit of understanding. Art films are going to go off on a audience. I love the film.
Yeah, I guess it's like the guy who made like the Greasy Strangler or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People are just like alienated by
Yep.
weird, and they're like, this guy's meant this young upstart David Lynch intended to make a film about a normal baby, and he made Eraserhead.
Well, that's the Greasy Strangler is probably the best comparison because when I went to see it, I fucking loved it, and everyone else
Yeah,
hated like even people like respect and didn't hate it. So yeah, that's why I disagree, but I understand it here. And
yeah,
obviously, Fist we've covered. Game of Death
yeah.
is obviously the briefly patched together posthumous film from him. The bits that are real are good, the bits that are fake are shit. So I understand. That's a weird, gross, cynical cash in. So that's I would put that there. Ronaldo and Clara. Oh my god, my boy Bobby B finally getting in the director's seat. I have seen this in bits and pieces. I watched a fan cut, just the live performances, and the actual movie cut out great. I know Scorsese did that pretty much for his Netflix Golden Thunder one as well. But yeah, the movie itself, I tried watching. Oh my god, it's probably like a 4 to 5 hour cut of it, and it's just fucking rough. It's just very stonery. You know, it's very you need an actual director to piece any of this together rather than just composing it like a song, pieces together. A lot of good cameos, a lot of cool big stars, a lot of really good performances. Some weird stuff like Joan Baez playing Sarah Dillon, his wife is just Freudian to me, but when Sarah Dillon's in it, someone else, oh, it's fucking weird. But it's not a very good film. Much like
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it much of Fanatic. He would get worst director probably at the Razzies. I don't think they'll talk about the film, but just name value to Bob Dylan. I also thought it was earlier than 78, but apparently
Okay, I am contractually obligated to say that Days of Heaven is a masterpiece of cinema and should not be near this list in a million years.
not.
And particularly, maybe this is what sent Terrence Malick into exile. Mr. Malick, you've been nominated for a stinker. Well, okay, well, fine. Fine. I'm not going to make another movie for 30 years. Let's
Yeah,
see how they fucking like that.
my opinions on Days of Heaven are probably not as. It's a beautiful film. I don't love the movie. I'm not a big Malik boy compared to you though. Give me fucking give me Bob Dylan.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, Malick being a Jesus freak, he
hmm
should, in theory, be more up your alley than mine, but yeah, I
I
guess you have no poetry in your soul,
I
my
just
friend.
do not.
That's
I like bad ones, so I do like
yeah,
bad ones.
yeah,
So yeah, I genuinely do. Just to me, it's just I don't know, something missing. Maybe one day, maybe he's a grower, not a shower.
yeah. Um, so then we should also probably talk about Boys from Brazil. So I thought Boys from Brazil sounded amazing. When I watched it, I thought it was maybe like a little bit anticlimactic, but I think this might be something that Mr. Razzie will go for because he, of course, has Sir Larry, Laurence Olivier taking a little bit of a swing before inching. It also features one Officer Mahoney, Steve Gutenberg, in a
Oh my
supporting
god,
role.
no way, Gutenberg and Olivier, like that's my intro sequel right there.
Okay, so out of these, I think you're right. I think he'll go hard for the Bad News Bears, go to Japan, just because he's mentioned not liking like the Bad News Bears have cropped up now and then, and they're also like the sitcom like to TV, aren't
Mhm.
they? And so you've got things like Tony Curtis, kind of like Tony Curtis coming up in it. That like yeah, he seems like a like Hollywood star who's kind of a little bit past his sell by date, I
Yes.
guess. So that seems like a Razzie contender, but I haven't seen anything that like I think he would really go for. So I based off mind huntering, I would guess like Bad News Bears or Sergeant Pepper's tick a lot of the boxes.
Yes, yes. I just think with Sergeant Peppers, you can dunk on more people. You can spread out from the Bee Gees to all the support in random cameos. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that covers too much.
So as before, we get an expanded ballot with corrections and
Ooh,
clarifications, and there they give Worst Picture to Ronaldo and Clara.
yes.
And the other nominees, If I Ever See You Again, Moment by Moment, Paradise Alley, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And their dishonorable mentions this time, Avalanche, Bad News Bears to go to Japan. Damien, Omen 2. Fist, Going Coconuts. The Hound of the Baskervilles. It Lives Again. Laser Blast. The Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
The Norseman.
Nice.
Rabbit Test, Sextet, and The Swarm. So,
well, obviously, the one we're going to talk about there is Lord of the Rings, isn't it? Have you seen Ralph's version?
no.
No, I haven't. I have.
Yeah.
I think I watched it as a child. I got mixed up with the, the other, there's like the Two Towers and the Hobbit, the other animated ones from the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Return of the King, I think it is. The Jump to Return of the King. So I do mix them up a little bit in my head. But I like the original Lord of the Rings, Rolf. It's weird. It's very unique watching it now, obviously, with Peter Jackson, Amazon doing their damage. So, like, I like it. I think there's a lot of art, a lot of heart, a lot of skill. I like rotoscoping. I think it's rough around the edges. It's unpolished, but it's alright. I'm a big fan of it. I wouldn't want it here.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about the Norseman for a second, because I think this might not come up for picture, but I think for sure Lee Majors would get a nom for worst actor.
What's the Simpsons line again? You're thinking of Lee Majors, aren't you, Marsh?
I can't remember. I just remember my dad being obsessed with the $6 Million Man and talking to me about it like incessantly. And so, like, yeah, the plot is an 11th century Viking prince sails to North America to find his father, who in a previous voyage has been captured by Native Americans. So, Robert Eggers could never. And it says, Major said it took a lot of guts to play a Viking, but was persuaded by a fee of $500,000 and 10% of the profits.
No.
He later said, I had a little time off, and they said, it shoots in Florida on the coast there out of Tampa, and they had a bunch of Tampa Bay Buccaneers that were going to play Vikings. So I don't know. I thought it'd be fun, so I did it.
This is just my madness committed to play, but it's not the same year as Herzog's Nosferatu. Because then, if it is, Eggers is getting all these inspiration from one year.
It was very close to then, if it wasn't.
Klaus Kinski.
Yeah,
come on,
70. Herzog was 79.
Oh.
So, yeah. The reception section on Wikipedia is one of my favorites that I've ever seen, because it is one line. The Los Angeles Times called it tedious business. I would put that would be my pool quote. If I ever made a movie and the LA Times called it tedious business, I would put
front and center.
Yeah. So, zipping through their nominations, nothing. Interestingly, their dishonorable mentions, they go for a triple whammy with Blood Brothers, with Richard Gere, Tony Lobianco, and Paul Sorvino all getting nominations. So, scrolling down the nominations for other things, Brooke Shields was nominated for Pretty Baby, so I think she would probably have come up for the Razzies as well. Sondra Locke was nominated for Every Which Way But Loose. So,
well, this is something I have a note of.
Is Mr. Razzie scared of?
I was thinking this because Clint is the Stallone of the 70s. Yeah. Even when he's without a monkey, I still think he's going to be the target. 100%. Clint will be the Stallone, the poster boy for just getting every year. Clint Eastwood's getting nominated, and the two monkey films, Any Which Way But Loose, or whatever the other fucking one's called, they are guaranteed. But yeah, like even his good films in the 70s are probably going to pop up. Like Two Mules is probably going to appear, or whatever he did in the 70s, they're going to be here. So yeah.
And then there's also a nomination for Diana Ross in The Wiz.
The Wiz would have been here. I have The Wiz on a note. I forgot what year it was. Yeah. I thought it was seven for some reason. But yeah, The Wiz probably would be Diana Ross. Probably just screenplay somehow, or like worst idea, worst musical. He's probably going to get a worst song. Michael will escape. I don't think he's going to. If he escapes from Moonraker, he's going to escape The Wiz. So.
And then worst supporting actor nomination for Jackie Earle Haley for The Bad News Bears Go to Japan, George Kennedy for Brass Target, Larry Olivier for The Betsy and Boys from Brazil, and then O.J. Simpson for Capricorn 1.
I haven't seen him pre-Naked Gun, so I don't know how his acting was in the 70s. Pre-murder, so different times.
Yeah, then dishonorable mention for one of my personal faves, Billy Barty in Foul Play. A romantic neo-noir comedy thriller. Again, what is... No, fuck, this is the one we discussed. I'm sure... Did we not speak about this on something?
Maybe.
Billy...
I think you just got Billy Barty on the brain, I don't...
Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chase, Dudley Moore...
Oh, yes, we did. We definitely did. I remember the cover now, like, without even looking it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, maybe did Mr. Razzie nominate one of them in like the decade year or something?
I don't know, but it's ringing a bell.
Yeah, it's for sure. It's coming up. Maybe something was a remake of Foul Play, but anyway, it looks way too familiar. And so then the Revenge of the Pink Panther was also this year because it was nominated. It was a dishonorable mention for most painfully unfunny comedy. So
have you seen Revenge?
I think that franchise... I don't know. My parents tried to introduce me to the Pink Panther films when I was younger, and I was like, "Where's the cartoon?
Yeah.
Like, where's the cartoon cat?"
We had the VHS set based on the cartoon cat or the animated series, so I sat and watched like all of them when I was a kid. So like after 4, they all blend together. Revenge, I think, must be the last Peter Sellers, because I'm into Roger Murtari. Yeah,
that's the Frankenstein.
No, I think it's the last one with him. Is it? You might have to look it up.
Okay, yeah.
I think after this.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Final on-set performance.
Okay, yes. And then we get the 2, and then the 3rd, the son of Pink Panther or whatever in the 90s. Yeah, the worst is yet to come. So be grateful. Peter Sellers, though, is tired and old and ill and not in his best state. He's still Peter Sellers. I still love him, but yeah, it's rough watching. And 6 films in.
You love him, but tired, old. This seems like the perfect punching bag for Mr. Razzie.
It really is.
I reckon he'd go Sellers.
Yeah.
And then moving on to worst song or song performance in a film or its end credits. This is just for you, this category. Really.
Thank you.
The winner, Too Close to Paradise by Sylvester Stallone for Paradise Alley.
So I like that because Stallone wins the worst songs at the Stinkers, and then Frank wins worst songs at the Razzies. It's a family affair. I like it.
Yeah. And then we also get Love Keeps Getting Stronger Every Day by Neil Sedaka from Somebody Killed Her Husband. That's amazing. You just don't get titles like that.
No, you don't.
Again, this poster looks vaguely familiar. I think I've just seen this looking at Jeff Bridges on Letterboxd or something, because it stars Farrah Fawcett and Jeff Bridges, American comedy mystery film. Like, I just love that. Like, your comedy mystery. Like, somebody killed her husband. I don't know. Who did this? The guy's, what do you call it again? Wife? Yeah. He did homicide or whatever. And then On the Shelf by Donnie and Marie Osmond from Going Coconuts. Can You Read My Mind by Margot Kidder from Superman the movie.
I don't know that. What's that? Is that end credits?
Yeah.
It must be. I don't know.
I assume that,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
It could be playing throughout the whole film for all I remember. The Superman theme just plays for 90 minutes in my head. I don't know any other music.
Well, would it surprise you to learn that Margot Kidder wrote lyrics to the Superman theme? A la the guy from Star Trek. No, we'll need to look into that at later dates. Convoy, again. Did Convoy...
Convoy was it? We've talked about Convoy, didn't we? Have I talked about Convoy? When we were talking about all our trucker films, we got a great big Convoy.
Honestly, this might have broken me because I feel like we've discussed Convoy, maybe on mic or maybe not. And then Maxwell's Silverhammer by Steve Martin from Sgt. Pepper's Hearts Club Band.
Right, I'm gonna have to look up George Burns, Sgt. Pepper's. What did he do? Did I hallucinate it? Oh my god! I'm sorry. Gotta give me 2 seconds. This is gonna haunt me to the day I die. Soundtrack. Steve Martin. George Burns did Fix in a Hole. I knew it.
Oh,
I knew it was a jaunty Mark
yeah.
Marka fucking vaudevillian song. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, and so we also get Up in Smoke by Cheech and Chong from Up in Smoke, and You Can't Win by Michael Jackson from The Wiz.
That's a shame. Up in Smoke's good, even the song as well. Like, when Cheech and Chong still are comedians to an extent, and they're not just stereotypes. Yeah, and yeah, The Wiz as well. It's a good year. It's a good year for music.
Worst on-screen couple nomination for Clint Eastwood and Clyde the Orangutan from
There you go. That's the Razzie winner right there. Like,
they lost out to John Travolta and Lily Tomlin.
The monkey was robbed.
And then most annoying non-human character, he wins it back. Really, it was Clint holding him back because Clyde the Orangutan wins that. Beating out competition from Bruce the Mechanical Shark for Jaws 2, Fats the Dummy from Magic, Jake the Annoying Cat from Outer Space in The Cat from Outer Space, and the new Toto from The Wiz. So, yeah, Jaws 2, Mr. Razzie would have gone for that as well.
Jaws 2, yeah. I like Jaws 2. Have you seen Jaws 2?
No.
I like Jaws 2. It's Rocky 2. Very unnecessary, but it's fine.
So then we are heading off to a very special year for you, 1977. So do you want to... We're out in the wilderness now.
We're in the wilderness.
On our own.
77 is great for me because it's undisputed. Both Stinkers and Razzies would have picked it. It's my beloved The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. There's no way this wouldn't have swept it. Like, Linda Blair's getting worst actress. Burton's probably going to get worst actor. Like, Boorman's getting worst director. It's going to have worst script. It's going to be worst remake or sequel. It'll be worst picture. Ennio will escape because not even a crazed hack can put him in for his wonderful score. But yeah, this is clean. It's so clean. To me, in my head, when I was like, oh, Caligula, Heretic, I was like, these late 70s are just going to be bang, bang, bang. These are the big ones that are perfect for what a Razzie is. They would be wrong, of course, because The Heretic is a very unique, weird, and wonderful film that makes no sense. I want my Exorcist films to go into dreams, you know? I want to have a dream machine. But I do love it. This is just clean as a whistle. There was a few other like ones I was looking at 77 and a nice little crossover. I think Sorcerer would have probably popped up, as much as I love that film as well. I think Friedkin's getting dunked on this year. It's a bad year for the Exorcist boys in general. There's a lot of like shit horror this year that Razzie and the Stinkers probably would have picked up. But for me, it's just clean. It's The Exorcist 2. There's just every winner to me. And it's wrong. I wish we could have watched it and changed the world's opinion, but alas, here we are.
Yeah. I don't have enough knowledge to speak.
Have you seen Exorcist 2?
No. I've seen 3. I've seen Beginning. I've seen Believer. But I have not seen 2.
I do have a few other ones I did think that would come up here that I'll just run through as well. I did think Eraserhead, which I thought was 1977, would have been here.
Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit, probably, for Mr. Razzie. Doesn't like vans and trucks and cars. The Hills Have Eyes probably would have picked up something, but yeah, it's just it's New York maybe. Scorsese's probably only.
I was gonna say that, like, if not Scorsese, then maybe De Niro, or just like the film would.
Someone's getting something.
He hates people leaving their comfort zone. Not that Scorsese or De Niro have comfort zones exactly, but like I think he might go for that just for the 1976 clicks or the 1977
But that's it.
Clicks.
The 1977, it's everything else. So I'm looking at, oh, that's okay, you know, like The Heretic is hated, dreadful sequel to what classic film, takes all the boxes, big budget, big failure. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, hear me out. What if he went Alec Guinness in A New Hope, 1977?
Well, there's every chance Mr. Razzie would have hated Star Wars. There's every fucking chance that, yeah, I'm just calling it Star Wars because we're in the mindset. Like, there's no part 4s yet. There's no fucking titles. It's just Star Wars. Yeah, he could have easily contradicted and went against the tide, but maybe the phenomenon's too big, and he'd have swept him up as well.
Yeah.
I think that's why you could get James Earl Jones for The Heretic. You know, you can dunk on Star Wars, The Heretic and Star Wars. You know, the double nomination for some reason. That's the only way it's coming up, though.
Okay, so we're then off to 1976.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any?
I do. Hold on 2 seconds.
On this year.
So there's a few. There's a 76. There's a lot of very good films, but obviously we've got a lot of stinkers. I think The Man Who Fell to Earth, Bowie's winning worst actor for his coked up, insane performance. I like that film, but you're losing that Ziggy. It's now fashionable to dunk on him. I think he's getting that. What was my worst film? Hold on. Oh, this is simply for Mr. Razzie. Bugsy Malone, worst picture. Entire ensemble.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck all the kids. They're dreadful. Bugsy Malone's great. I love that film. But if I love it, there's a chance Mr. Razzie's going to fucking hate it. So yeah, 76 is a bit harder one. There's a lot of B movies, a lot of trash. That's why I was thinking Bowie and Children, which is a deadly combination. That's what I was thinking he was going to go for. I did have a look through everything else again as well. There's a lot of things I've not seen that I can't really comment on. But based off the ones I have seen, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I think you go for Streisand and the Star is Born remake.
Oh, is that 76? Yeah. Is that Chris?
76, yeah.
It's Chris Christopherson in that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. It's a good film, eh?
Both of those two he's kind of latched onto in the past, so yeah, I reckon if he's on his game, he goes Christopherson and Streisand. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have any other,
I don't. We can move swiftly on
to 1975. So, any?
Have you got any for these rest, or am I just carrying this now?
You're going to be carrying this. I'm frantically googling and looking things up. There are things I have to kind of chip in, but do you have any?
Yeah,
I've got 75.
Well, I do. I have a few. I think Tommy is not worst picture, but Tommy's picking up. Individual people can get cleared through Tommy. I was hoping it wasn't too British. I think that was where I was like, I keep forgetting that some hack in California is not watching Tommy, but that was a big deal. I don't think he's ever going to watch Quadrophenia, but I think he's seen Tommy, and I think Tommy would have swept the actors. Rooster Cogburn would be here as well. I think John Wayne is going to get in the act of being dunked on in his final days. I like it for a sequel. For a sequel to a good film, I like it. It's not perfect, but I'd rather have it than not have it. What else have I got? And I have...
That's one of my biggest regrets is that John Wayne was done by the time the Razzie started, because I hate John Wayne. It doesn't help that both my grandfathers loved him, and so my parents are to lesser extents John Wayne fans, and I just grew up in a big John Wayne household, and I don't like him. Rooster Cogburn is the most I've liked him. I think he's used to good effect in The Searchers, but I find him really boring as a screen presence.
I agree. I love him as Rooster in True Grit and Rooster. I think that's a perfect grumpy character. It suits him so well. I love The Searchers, but my problem with Wayne stems from the first ever John Wayne film I seen was The Conqueror, in Yellowface as Genghis Khan. So getting blasted by radiation. So that wasn't a good start. And then when I kind of worked around, I remember watching all my grandpa's VHSs, especially when I started to love westerns and trying to work out why I love this film but not this film. Why do I love Eastwood but not Wayne? What's happening to me? But yeah, he's boring as fuck and he's an asshole. So I'm not gonna. I can almost defend Eastwood because he's got good taste in jazz and he's a decent director and he's made some of my favorite films. John Wayne has nothing, no positives. I can overlook how much of a prick he is. So, yeah, sorry, John.
Yeah. So then we are off to 1974. So do you have anything to?
I do. Let me change those. Yeah. So covering 1974, I think I got worried because I thought the Texas Chainsaw would probably be the Razzie pick. I thought Texas Chainsaw 2 for 88, 81 might have popped up more. But the original, I'm trying to think of like the controversy and being able to dunk on it and everything like that. For me though, the one of my favorite films that was hated in 1974 was Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia by Peckinpah. It's hands down one of my favorite films of all time. I know how badly received it was. I know how it ruined his career. I'm thinking this is going to be lingering here. And my other thought...
He likely wins director, I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just because I also fucking hate the film is The Man with the Golden Gun. I was like, the 70s is probably the only time I would see Bond films pop up in Razzies. I thought Moonraker in 79. I think I seen it for a stinker somewhere. But I was like, oh, Man with the Golden Gun. It's got, as much as I love it and I'll die on that hill, I can understand why the tide might be turning, like, in terms of Duncan.
Well, this is a very smooth segue because I think, not having seen it, I think you are wrong. I think the Razzie would have gone to Zardoz.
Oh my god, I forgot Zardoz. Yeah, Zardoz wins. I love Zardoz. See, this is what, like, this is Boorman, and this is what I was talking about The Exorcist 2. Why I just kind of want to talk about The Exorcist 2 for a fucking episode. This is like my big ruse to talk about Caligula and The Exorcist 2. We'll make a podcast. We'll do a full year just so till at the end. Zardoz is nuts, but it's hard to not watch. You seen Zardoz?
No.
I mean, you know it. You know, you can see Connery. I'm sure you can see the giant floating head. It's weird. It's a unique film. I think Boorman's a very unique visionary. Not a great filmmaker, but loads of ideas. And yeah, Connery's winning. I don't know if Zardoz is winning. It's like maybe a Xanadu thing where you think it would, but it's hard to tell what you'd have been up for in the 1970s. But yeah, that's a good call. I missed that one.
Also, do you think you would have gone for John Carpenter and Dark Star? Like,
No.
I don't think it doesn't have
Dark Star. Dark Star is
does
a retroactive thing. I didn't know that was Carpenter until later.
Yeah.
It's one of those like THX 1138 isn't gonna get Lucas a nom. You know, early, too low budget, too under the radar. Maybe in hindsight. I also have stuff like The Tower Inferno. I know he doesn't like all his disaster movies and stuff. And then there's a lot I've not seen as well, so it's hard to talk about that I'm sure are absolutely terrible, but I haven't seen Airport and the original one and all that, so I can't really comment.
Yeah. Do you have any talking points for 73?
Yeah, so 73 is a fucking great year. It was hard for me. I think it's the only time I'll ever get to talk about the Holy Mountain on this podcast. Again, a big ruse, just to get to the 70s. If the Holy Mountain was... No, I don't know how well known it was, or released, or if it was like an underground cult thing even back then. He would have fucking hated it, and he would have ripped it to shreds. Yeah, there's a few other ones. When I look back on 73, I was amazed at how many of my actual favourites, even my favourite Disney films, 1973, my favourite horror, The Exorcist is here. There's so many. Mean Street's one of my favourite Scorsese's, 73. It's a very good year for me, so when I was going back through it, I was like, I haven't seen half of these. Badlands is here as well, one of my favourites. So I was like, I couldn't think. Long Goodbye, I was overrun with how many. So I was going with, the Dirty Harry film this year. I have a note written here for that. That was going into my Clint getting dunked on. I think Dirty Harry 1's going to escape, but Lethal Enforcer and all the sequels are getting... He's winning. Kudos. An honourable mention to the Whatever Planet of the Apes film came out this year, because they're going to sweep up from the last 3 years that they're on.
I don't have anything to bring to the table for 1973 with my nursery look, so off to 1972. You said that you haven't.
I've got very little from this early point because this is probably where I was like, oh, do these count? You know, we're getting into real trash at this point, just low budget B movies that are just getting. That's why I was trying to work out the point when B movies became A movies but didn't change. The budget just got higher. That's what I was really focusing on. I was like, when did these become just limited runs trash to they are front and center, everyone's going to queue out to see them. So yeah, going backwards, it's you're just going for obvious picks now, like what is known as bad movies, and I'm not going to say they're eligible. They're not hitting my heretic holy mountain criteria. So I don't have anything from the last of it. It's mostly till 73 is what I've got.
Yeah. In 1972, we get What, the film by Roman Polanski. During her Italian vacation, a young and beautiful American tourist finds herself as a guest in a coastal villa inhabited by some odd people, perhaps a rapist fleeing the authorities. We also get another great auteur, Brian De Palma's Get to Know Your Rabbit, which featured Orson Welles. I think he would have gone for that, just with the appearance of old
73 as well. I do have a little note at the very bottom. Journey Through the Past. I just a note 'cause I didn't think we'd talk about it. But seeing Ronaldo and Clara a few years later, I have seen Journey Through the Past as Neil Young's directorial debut. It's fucking awful. It's almost unwatchable. It's like a slideshow of things just pieced together. It's got no cohesion to it. It's a burnt out hippie making a movie, and and that's what it was. Because when's hold on, let me look it up. We never got to talk about Human Highway in 1982. The Razzies skipped over that when Neil Young, Dennis Hopper, Devo, everyone could have been picking up fucking awards for that. I love Human Highway, but I was thinking, well, if they don't like Eraserhead, maybe they were going to hate this, but because that never came up. Yeah, but Journey Through the Past does suck, and I'm a big Neil Young fan. That would have picked it up. That would have got something. But yeah, that's it. I'm all out now. Yeah, it's all done.
You haven't seen An American Hippie in Israel?
I have not seen An American Hippie in Israel.
That was 72.
That's I might watch it now. It's very poignant timing.
1972 Israeli metaphorical counterculture film. Maybe take out Israeli, but otherwise metaphorical counterculture film. If that doesn't scream Kel Shemansky, I don't know what does. So I'll just take us through very quickly. 1971, Zat. A lot of people didn't like Zat.
Zat doesn't count though. I don't think that. This is where we're getting into almost Ed Wood territory, and I need full releases. I need a budget. I need to know what production company it is, and it can't just be Media Matters Productions or something.
And so, then we can, I think, I don't know, would he have gone for Hitchcock towards the end of his career?
No.
Or Billy Wilder, or like...
Because that's his generation. It's got to be something he doesn't quite understand. It's almost why, in my head, John Wayne escapes, but Clint gets doubled down on. I don't know. I think Mr. Razzie's more of a boomer than his age lets on.
Yeah.
Because if they were in Laverne and Shirley, or they're in the fucking 6 Days Monsters, they're his heroes. They're not going to dunk on them.
Yeah, I think he would have gone... So one of my talking points, I think he for sure would have beaten Elvis to death. He would have ripped Elvis limb from limb if Elvis had been... Elvis would have been the Stallone of his era, I reckon.
1970 would have probably ripped on Let It Be as well. Or 71, whenever the movie actually came out. That would have probably been ripped on. If he was in the 6 Days, Help's getting destroyed. Head by the Monkees is going to win worst, like 67. A lot of musical ones are just going to... Because they're popular and they're cool. And they're shit as well.
I think you can point to films easily enough, but I think there's like definitely specific people who would be like the Stallone of like everything they touch gets dragged down.
That's Eastwood. That's Eastwood to me, and then in the 6 Days.
Yeah, Eastwood, Elvis.
Yeah.
I don't know who else it would be, but I think another one, another of your favorites, which we've kind of spoken about a little bit, he would have gone hard for Casino Royale, I reckon.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I reckon Orson Welles is going to be one of his...
Woodsy.
Like, in fact,
Peter,
Transformers was the Razzie era. No, he did nominate him. He did nominate
Orson Welles is winning. Acting, Orson's picking up everything. Casino Royale, 100% we would have been... If Razzies existed in 1967, we would have had a 9-hour episode on Casino Royale, and it would have been fantastic. I think the biggest problem he would have had is picking, is it Peter or is it Orson? Like, who am I going to go for here? Because, and I'd like to see him class what a lead is as well, when no one's a fucking lead in that movie. Yeah, I would have been very intrigued to see how I'd love his thoughts on Casino Royale. I'd absolutely adore them.
Okay, so if we don't have anything
We have
really
nothing
more
else.
to talk about, then I'm just going to bring us to a close with the Golden Turkey Awards, which I think I
Yes.
might have touched upon.
Yeah, Brad?
So this is a 1980 book, and I haven't read it, so I've just got the summary from Wikipedia, where they go way further back than either the Razzies or the Stinkers. So, list of Golden Turkey winners. Most embarrassing movie debut: Paul Newman in The Silver Chalice from 1954. Most ridiculous movie monster: Roman from Robot Monster, 1953. Oh, I hadn't even thought about Mr. Razzie going for those big like creature, like Lost in Space type.
Yeah. Because I thought you would love them. That's where I was like, oh, if we age him backwards, if he's got like a mentality of someone from the 20s, yeah, he's gonna fucking hate them. If we just keep on boomering his brain backwards, he's gonna hate everything. Like everything fun.
Yeah, it's tricky to be like, do you do Mr. Razzie if he was born in this era and had his taste shaped by something else, or do you just transport him back like a little Cloud Atlas Mr. Razzie who just reincarnated in every era? Worst performance by a popular singer: Tony Bennett in The Oscar.
That must have been pretty
Oscar
bad
from
then.
1966. Yeah, that would be a very heated category.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Worst title: Rat Fink a Boo Boo from 1966.
I've never seen it, but I know of it. I know of it because there's a Misfits song called Rat Fink. And then I know it's based off this film from the 50s. That's all.
The first 40 minutes of the film are straight crime drama, but it jarringly segues into a superhero parody after this. So it was the From Dusk Till Dawn of its day, is what you're telling me then. Most brainless brain movie. They Saved Hitler's Brain.
No, you can't count that. That's not. Click on it.
That's TV movie.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought
a lot of these you're gonna.
I thought that was unreleased. Yeah, that was unreleased. Doesn't count.
Most badly bumbled B movie: The Swarm. Worst casting: John Wayne as Genghis Khan in The Conqueror.
yeah, absolutely. That's the worst casting.
I was gonna say earlier on in my assessment of John Wayne is like, one of the things I hate most about John Wayne is he's boring. He takes no risks. You would never catch him playing a man of a different ethnicity. No. The biggest risk in cinema history, being like, yeah, I can play Genghis.
The funniest part of it is like you take away the makeup, the yellow face, and all the thing. He stays. His accent doesn't change. Like there's nothing different.
No, it's just John Wayne. Like it's speaking about like Snapchat filters and things in the recent era. It's honestly just John Wayne delivering an unchanged. Well, hey there, little lady. I'm gonna go and conquer Japan. Saddle up your horses, fellas. We're gonna wipe out the Ming Dynasty. Me revealing my complete lack of knowledge about history and the world there. Worst performance by a politician: United States Congressman and New York City Mayor John Lindsay in Rosebud. So the Otto Preminger film Rosebud. This is it's interesting how you can look past Reagan. Not that like Reagan was necessarily an awful actor, but like just
I'm sure again. There must be so many that have just even cameos and little pop-ups and stuff. You know,
Hillary Clinton in Broad City. That's TV.
Donald Trump and Ghost can't do it.
No, because he's good. I don't want to be starting a fight with Mr. Turkey. Not after Thanksgiving weekend. This is not the time. Worst two-headed transplant movie: The Thing with Two Heads, which is a blaxploitation film from 1972.
Never seen it.
Worst rodent movie: The Food of the Gods from 1976. Worst performance by a novelist: Norman Mailer in Wild 90. Oh, I don't know. Capote's in a bunch of stuff, isn't he?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's got to be a few.
I'm sure like E.L. James probably has a cameo in the 50 Shades movies. I'm sure you can also probably think of like a Stephen King appearance.
Yes, that's it.
But I feel like we're missing.
No,
there will be someone who's
be.
notorious for being like the M. Night Shyamalan of the literary world. Then we have the P.T. Barnum Award for Worst Cinematic Exploitation of a Physical Deformity. The Terror of Tiny Town.
Tiny Town.
Film with an all-dwarf cast.
I've watched it. It's weird because it's so straight as well. Like it is exploited, but like it's just weird. I watched it on one of those. When I was watching my Django's on like 3 a.m. on Movies for Men 2 or whatever the fuck Dave channels, and it just auto played. And I remember just sitting there at 6 a.m. I watched the entire fucking thing. Yeah, it's really bad though. It is really fucking. It's like, what is it, 30 something, 1930 something.
38.
Yeah, it's fucking rough. Like it's not good. It's just weird.
I'm just grateful Mr. Turkey hasn't seen Even Dwarves Started Small, the Herzog film. We then have Worst Musical Extravaganza, At Long Last Love, the Peter Bogdanovich film from 1975.
Ooh, not seen that one. Who's in that?
Stars Burt Reynolds, Sybil Shepherd, Madeline Kahn.
All the favourites. That must be really, really bad if we're thinking on a Sgt. Pepper's level.
Yeah, it comes up in a lot of all-time worst lists. I'm sure Bogdanovich has said some funny things about it. Him kind of basically thinking it was a disaster as well.
Mm-hmm.
Critical reception. Here we go. Oh, so Bogdanovich, verbatim quote. He called it a total disaster, or the first version. Critical reception. Jay Cox in Time said, "This Cole Porter colouring book, mounted with great expense and no taste, is one of those grand catastrophes that makes audiences either hoot in derisive surprise or look away in embarrassment. When dancing, the stars look as if they're extinguishing a campfire."
Fair.
Pauline Kael called a stillborn musical comedy a relentlessly vapid pastiche. So, yeah. The Siskel gave it 2 out of 4, though. The musical numbers are a mess. Nobody knows how to dance. Nobody knows how to sing.
Fair.
Which doesn't sound like a 50% to me. Like, I must have told you that about when I was at the Edinburgh Festival with some god awful production, and we got like a 3-star review, and a bunch of my castmates shared it delighted, over the moon. And I was like, listen, maybe my standards are just higher than yours.
Yeah.
But I don't get out of bed for less than 4. And also, if you read the review, it is not a 3-star review.
Yeah.
This is the worst show I have seen at the entire festival.
Well, that's a problem I have with ranking and stuff. Even when you got me on Letterboxd, and I'm like, 3 is like Exorcist 2 to me. 1 star has to be Mike Lindell's Pillow film. It takes a lot for me to really go that low, but 3 is not a compliment. No, it's not. It's watchable. It's kind of my standard.
Then this is an interesting category. Worst performance as a clergyman or nun.
Okay.
Mary Tyler Moore in Change of Habit.
Oh, that's Elvis, isn't it?
That's who?
Elvis. That's an Elvis film.
Yeah, that's Elvis.
Yeah. Why do I know? I know the song. That's why I was like, I know something from Elvis here. I was like, what was this? Yeah, that's very specific category. I don't know why it's not worst clergyman and worst nun, but fair. That's fair. I've not seen the film though. I just know of it.
Worst performance as Jesus Christ. You should be in your element.
Oh, here we go.
Do you have any guesses? Anyone you'd like to single out?
I'm gonna. Well, the way it's going, it could be anything from a Warhol film to John Wayne. I don't know. It could be anyone. I know John Wayne's not played Jesus. It could be anyone.
Ted Neely in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Nah. The boy fucking made a career out of it. He won awards for it, didn't he? Didn't that launch him? Isn't that his entire career? Nah, I'm not. I'm not having that. No.
Worst blaxploitation movie? Scream, Blackula Scream.
I've seen Blackula. I have not seen the sequel, so I don't have a comment.
Biggest ripoff in Hollywood history? The 1976 version of King Kong. Okay, that's just flat out wrong.
That is a lie. Yeah.
Even if this was published in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, like, Hollywood's really perfected the art of ripping off in the past, like, 4 decades, but even still, there have been worse ones than the King Kong remake.
Oh, yeah.
I like this one. Worst credit line, the 1929 version of William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, with additional dialogue by Sam Taylor.
That's fucking amazing. I love you, Sam Taylor. Well done. 10 out of 10. I fixed it. I improved on it.
This is a very weird one. Most unerotic concept in pornography. Him, a porn film about a priest with a sexual fixation on Jesus Christ.
There's a fucking worse Jesus Christ than fucking Ted right away. Come on now, turkeys. I've not seen Him because Him was famously lost. It was a...
Yeah.
I remember watching something years back about people unsure if it was even real or if it was just like an art performance, like one-off.
Yeah.
I'm not counting this though. This was like a Warhol factory film. I'm not counting his Batman, his Draculas.
It just says it's porn.
Yeah.
So like once you start opening the gates to porn, then you've just, I don't know, nothing else is going to be able to compete.
Yeah.
Worst performance by an animal. Dinky the chimp in Tarzan and the Great River. During filming, Dinky attacked an injured lead actor.
We talked about this during both Tarzan.
Yeah.
I was like, there's one where a monkey attacked someone. I can't remember what. Could be any which way but loose for all I know. Fair. Like, yeah, that's a poor performance from an acting monkey though. If you're attacking, fair.
Yeah. Worst vegetable movie, Attack of the Mushroom People, which is a Japanese horror film. Interesting poster. Worst performance by Sonny Tufts, Government Girl.
Fair.
Oh, he was in Catwoman of the Moon. Okay.
Okay, I was going to say that's a very
Willis.
Bruce Willis. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Most ludicrous racial impersonation. Marlon Brando as a native of Okinawa in The Tea House of the August Moon.
Oh, how the tides turn, Mr. Brando. I've not seen this.
Yeah,
I know of this. I've seen clips, but I've never actually watched the whole film.
I don't think I knew about this one. I was just like expecting this to be like Viva Zapata, because I was like, you could almost make a category of most racially insensitive Brando performance. Then most obnoxious child performer. Oh, here we go. David Corey in Dondi.
I thought that was a Kanye West album, so I have no idea.
Daily comic script about a large-eyed war orphan.
There?
The film doesn't have its own Wikipedia page, and 1963. Corey, the son of Rocket Diane Corey, directed by Albert Zugsmith.
There?
Okay, then worst film you never saw.
Ooh.
Category for films never completed or only released in a limited fashion.
Oh,
Dave the Clown cried.
That's just what I was going to say. You beat me to it.
Billy Jack Goes to Washington. Have you spoken about
Billy Jack? I've spoken about Billy Jack. No, is it Washington? No, there's another one. Go Google me Billy Jack films. There's another one. It's not Washington.
Billy Jack?
I'm sure it's 80s.
The Trial of Billy Jack. Billy Jack Goes to Washington.
No,
The Return of Billy Jack.
The Return? When's that?
The Return. Oh, that was never finished.
That's the one.
Mid 80s.
Yeah, so that's the one.
Tom Laughlin.
Yeah.
Rodney Harvey.
Tom coming back. Yeah, so like Billy Jack, we probably spoke about on Deadly Ground. Wait, you're reacting. Go.
Plot: Billy Jack takes on child pornographers in New York City. So it's somewhere between hardcore and The Sound of Freedom.
That's a big jump from going to Washington, Mr. Smith. Jesus, fuck.
During the course of its filming, Laughlin suffered a head injury when a breakaway bottle malfunctioned while filming a scene in Toronto.
Wow.
By the time he recovered, funds to complete the film were depleted and production never resumed. Lachlan originally planned to sell the film to a major studio, but plans either fell through or were never realised. At the time production stopped, only approximately 15 minutes of the motion picture had been filmed.
Wow.
In addition, while filming was taking place in New York City, Lachlan broke up a street fight on Manhattan's West Side and made a citizen's arrest of a man following an argument over Lachlan's driving.
Wow. Oh my god, that is fucking incredible.
I might become like a QAnon guy where I'm just like, oh well, the bottle. It's like the Alec Baldwin shooting in Rust. Someone swapped out the breakaway bottle for a real bottle because the child pornographers didn't want Billy Jack getting the news out about what they were up to.
Oh, so what I was saying before that wonderful diversion, I watched Billy Jack, the first one, I think it's late 60s, I don't know the exact year, because of On Deadly Ground. Because it was reviewed as a Billy Jack remake, essentially. The hippie Navajo fucking Native American lad that goes and, outsider comes in, makes things right, has a knife and uses his fists. So I seen the first Billy Jack and I didn't like it. And I think it's 69. I think it's late 60s. But I didn't know, so why can't I see... And then I knew about the return of Billy Jack. I knew there was an unfinished. I didn't know that happened. I just knew there's 4 or 5 of them. But why can't I watch Ghost to Washington?
You can watch it now. I just don't think it got a wide release.
Oh, okay.
It says partly due to distribution problems, it never made it into theatre. Lachlan attributed to the film being blackballed under pressure from politicians involved with nuclear power. So I think it's available now.
Okay.
But I love how, like, after having failed to get that film released because of political intrigue, he's then like, I need to take on the child porn.
That's who stopped it getting released, though. It's all turning around.
It's real Q stuff. Like, I'm going to hit these politicians with the thing they love the most, child porn.
Oh.
Attempted revivals. So in March 2002, it was announced 3 Arts Entertainment and Danny DeVito's Jersey Films were in negotiations with Lachlan for a new Billy Jack film, with Keanu Reeves set to play the titular role. And DreamWorks announced their intention to buy the distribution rights, with Lachlan and his wife Dolores Taylor hoping to reprise their roles from the original series and set up passing the torch to Reeves.
Oh, a legacy
Billy Jack
sequel!
Legacy sequel. Whoa, you're telling me that these pornographers are working with children.
Wonderful.
So we then have Most Inane Technical Advance. Percepto, designed by William Castle for his 1959 film The Tingler, starring Vincent Price. At certain times in the film, small vibrators attached to the underside of some seats within the auditorium were activated to give some audience members a tingle.
No, that's not a technical advancement. That's a gimmick. It's like the ones that used to fucking smell-o-vision and all this shit. Like, yeah, I don't count. I'm not counting that. It has to be, to me...
I do think that's inane. I think that just, like, never took off.
It's the most inane gimmick, yeah, but it's not a technical advancement. Putting a vibrator on a seat is not a technical advancement, you know? I'm not taking that on Dragon's Den. I would be thinking of something that was an inane technical achievement that was unnecessary to do.
Yeah.
You know, a water world sort of thing. Why are we doing this for real in the sea rather than just fucking building a tank? Like, that sort of, the more effort than just doing it movie magic. That's what
I saw the Tingler at the GFT in Glasgow once, and I can't remember if they had tried to bring back Percepto or if it was like a bit of a gimmick screening, because at one point, like, someone got up and screamed and was like, oh no, the Tingler has got me, ah! And then I was like, oh, that's my friend who I was going to play with a couple weeks ago. There's Michelle getting murdered by the Tingler. But I don't remember if they had the Percepto. So, worst line of romantic dialogue. An exchange between Gary Cooper and Madeline Carroll in Northwest Mounted Police. Tell us what it is.
Yeah,
I
was just to say, what's the line? Okay, fair. Just a random any exchange, just anytime they talk. Yeah.
Okay, I might try and watch this for next time, and then I can come in with theories of what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Worst director: Mr. Edward Davis Wood
Hey.
Jr.
You know, as much as you'd want to, you can't really debate this, can you? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a lot of schlock as well. I do have the higher standards. I want Ed Wood to get a budget. That's what I want to see. He does get a pass a little bit just because it's not, you know, limited release schlock. I need big scale schlock.
Yeah. Yeah. You want your Cleopatra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Caligula.
Then moving on, we have worst actress Raquel Welch, who I've not really seen any of her big films, but from what I understand, she was kind of almost the Bo Derek of her day.
Yeah, it's more of a name than probably, apart from what's the fucking film? The
10,000
yeah,
years BC.
no, 100 million billion years ago or whatever the fuck it was called. I think
1 million years BC.
I've seen a few films. Hold on, let me get up. What have I got? Myra Breckenridge. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
She's good in that. Oh, okay, that's about it. And then like the Muppet Show. No, yeah, I haven't seen enough to. I would say she's better than Bo based on that one film alone.
She's definitely like maybe that was the wrong comparison in that like I guess I mean she was mostly judged as like a sex symbol first and an actor second because like she had I think I saw her in The Last of Sheila. I think that's the one thing I've seen her in that.
She was nominated for a Golden Raspberry in 1998 for supporting actress in Chairman of the Board, starring Carrot Top.
Oh yeah.
So she moves on up in the world.
Yeah. So worst actress, I don't quite know about that, but oh well. Worst actor, Richard Burton. So she's in All Right Company. A highly controversial choice, considering that he was a 7-time Oscar nominee, noted Shakespearean performer, and widely considered one of the world's greatest actors, but made because Burton starred in so many bad films.
No.
See, no quality control does not make you the worst.
No, it does not at all. Like, to hit those highs, you're allowed to hit the lows. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
We've talked about Olivier. We've talked about Orson. We've talked about people cashing in. That's fine.
We've talked about Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he's like, he can do what the fuck he wants. Like, Ed Wood is a worse actor, and you've just fucking nominated him, like, or made him win. Yeah, this is the most Razzie win, like, ever for the turkey so far.
And so that just leaves us with their runner-up and their worst film.
Okay.
So the runner-up was Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Okay, what's number one then? If that's the bar. Fuck off. No, fuck right off. Don't put them... Yeah. How can you put those two together? You've got the Conqueror above there, you fucking imbecile. Had to cut myself there. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Exorcist 2, I'm glad to see it. I'm glad I can talk about it more, but you cannot put that side. If you can't put the Podium, like, what's third? Like, the Tingler? I don't know.
So I do like this. A little thing they did for the book was they mentioned in the introduction that one of the films were fake.
Okay.
And readers had to try and guess which the fake one was. So most people thought it was him, but it was in fact Dog of Norway featuring Mookie the Wonder Hound.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fun. Having fun with it is I'm okay with. And I'm sure like this in book format reads better than a list read out on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, from like I don't really there's one or two that like I've objected to there, but they don't seem fundamentally insane in the way that the Razzies
No, exactly. If the Stinkers just covers everything ever released that year, and the Razzies is mean-spirited and hacky, this is the most jovial, light-hearted one of the bunch.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like you could have a paragraph there about why Burton's here because of Exorcist 2 and stuff, and I'm okay like that. If you're wanting to have a joke and make fun, that's cool.
Like, yeah, it's subjective. We're not to say that like we would do it any better.
No.
It's their own opinion, so whatever, man. That's like your opinion, man. So yeah, Mr. Turkey, welcome on the podcast.
Yeah,
anytime.
absolutely.
I shouldn't assume. Could be Miss Turkey.
Any of the Turkey family are allowed in.
So that brings us to a close for another week. If you have enjoyed the podcast, then you can email us at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com, where you can hit us up with any queries, comments about the show, opinions, etc. And you can follow us on social media, where we are Watching Worst. So we are like beating this dead horse to death,
scraping the
so
bottle.
we're gonna, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sucking every last morsel off this bone. There is a logic, there's a rhyme behind the reason. So we're gonna pad things out next week with another clip show, another weird retrospective. Well, we're gonna be talking about, this man almost defines the Razzies, doesn't he?
Yep.
Like, this is someone very near and dear to our heart. Probably the most conventionally, like, he's the most infuriating actor, isn't he? I would say.
What do you mean by infuriating?
Because, like, I don't know, like, our opinions on Stallone vary, but, like, Stallone is just kind of like, there's no mystery to Stallone.
No.
Whereas the topic of our next special, he's such an enigma of, like, he can be so good, but like for the longest time I was like, okay, he's just forgotten, he doesn't have it anymore, he doesn't want to challenge himself, whatever, can't begrudge him that, I'll just check out and never watch him in anything again. And then he will deliver a performance that is so good that you're like, oh, holy shit. Like,
he's someone that made me doubted if he was ever good.
yeah, exactly.
Right back to day one, I've had to go and go, was he ever, did I really ever enjoy him? And oh no, I did. It's highs and lows.
Yeah. And he's also like far spanning of, like, he's an empire. He's just like his proteges, his acolytes, his friends. He is really like a shining figure at the center of the Razzies. It is, of course, Adam Sandler. So,
The
join us next week.
restraint it took for you not to do that in a voice. I am very proud of you.
Well, yeah. Warning for those who do not like the cock and balls voice. Might want to skip next week and see us in 2 weeks. But next week we will be discussing the filmography of Adam Sandler.
Indeed.
So join us for that.
Excellent. See you then, guys. Bye.